Today we're going to be talking about something that's been bugging me a little bit. It's been bugging me for a while, but I kind of put it to the back of my mind, concentrated on the story issues and that sort of thing. But yeah, I think it is something that we need to come back to. And that is what is going to happen as far as your gear and your levels and everything like that in Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2. Also, another thing, if I sound a bit weird, it's because half of my face is swollen up with a bit of a wisdom tooth issue, so I do apologise if it makes me sound a bit weird. A bit weirder than usual. Yeah, weirder than usual. That works. So, I'm not going to mess about, I'm just going to jump straight into it, say as few words as possible because this is not fun. And yeah, let's see what we can come up with. Don't forget to drop a like on the video and subscribe, but let's get straight to it. Now the first option is that we'll keep everything. Now this one's going to be pretty, I don't know, I think it's going to be a bit difficult to do because, you know, people might not have the save files on the console anymore, people might have moved on to PS5 and they've not played FF7 Remake on the PS5 yet. Don't know why you wouldn't. But either way, the thought is that the game picks up on what you've already done previously in Remake and gives you the exact same stats. The other option could be, because let's be fair, it is quite easy to get pretty well maxed out in Remake. You know, it's not the most difficult thing in the world to get all the gear, all the weapons, all the skills, all the materia. It just isn't. It could just be a case of the game will just decide, right, we're going to give everyone this generic starting point, you know, you were all X level with each of these materia, so it might give you one of each materia or something like that. I don't know. But I don't think it's going to be something where each one of us gets our individual abilities and skills and everything like that. I don't think there's going to be a system in place that will detect exactly where we were at character-wise and let us continue from there. Not only that, because it means the level cap will have to be stupid for this next game now. And if you push the level cap higher, then you're going to end up with HP for bosses that has to be scaled up, and it just... all the numbers get too high. It's just going to be, say, like I saw someone say, the level cap won't be level 99, it'll be level 999. And that's the sort of thing that'll happen if this is what they do, and that'll be ludicrous. It won't be 999, but it'll be higher than, you know what I mean, they'll have to do something to accommodate for the fact that, you know, you've kept all your levels and carried them over, and it'll just get silly. It will genuinely just get silly. Which then brings us to the next option. And the next option is that we have a wipe of some sort. Now there's two ways that they can do this. The first way that they can do this is an unexplained wipe. You just start off Remake Part 2 at level 1 or 5 or whatever with basic gear, that's it. Nothing carries over from the original game, you just haven't got everything and it just kind of lets you go. Now I can't see them doing this because it'd be the stupidest thing that they could do. I mean, if you're going to have a wipe, yeah, fine. We need, you know, if you need to have a wipe, have a wipe. But please, for the love of God, don't leave it unexplained. Because that'd just be so bad. So bad. And with the issues that people have with the narrative of Remake already, doing this would just be another reason for people to be like, well, that doesn't make any sense. So yeah, I don't think they're going to do the unexplained wipe. Which leaves me with two reasonably plausible options for what could happen. Now the first of these is Yuffie. We all know that in Disc 1, when you bump into Yuffie, she tries to steal your materia. Now she doesn't actually pull it off, but once you head over to Wutai later on in the game and you trigger her side quest and the Wutai side quest, she does get, she does steal all of your materia, you lose everything. Well, unless you've got stupid amounts of materia, which normally I do, and I end up keeping 1 or 2 pieces, but not much. Now you could bring that into the game earlier. You could have it so that Yuffie catches the party at Calm. She's at Calm, the party arrives at Calm, the Calm flashback happens, and either during or after the Calm flashback, something happens with Yuffie where she takes everyone's gear. And then we don't see Yuffie until either later on in Part 2, or possibly even Part 3. It would be a nice way to get rid of all your gear. It wouldn't really do much for the levels, but one way that you could do that is just, you could have a wipe of the levels, and then have Yuffie be the explanation for the gear, and that'd be a lot more palatable than just a wipe. Or just keeping everything. Do you know what I mean? Neither of those options feels like it's going to work. Now there is one more option, and this one, it kind of depends on the story going a certain way. If what happened at the end of Remake was all confined to one timeline, which I personally don't believe it is, but if it is all confined to one timeline, then the change that happens at the end of Remake, and everybody knows what the change is, unless you've not played the game, so, if you don't know, go play. But that change that happens potentially has a lot of knock-on effects. If it is all in one timeline, which again, I don't think it is, but if it is, then that change could easily affect what equipment, what gear, what materia the party has access to. And that could be used to explain the loss of gear, everything. That could be used to explain why you are now starting again from zero. And I don't like it, because it would sort of nail the story into the one timeline, and I don't think that's going to be the best service for it. I mean, obviously they're the ones writing it, and we need to see what they do with it. But personally, I don't see how one timeline works. But let's just go with it. So the change occurs, people survive, and because of that, there's a direct knock-on effect in the timeline. Now, you could argue that because the party were inside that portal that Sephiroth had created at the end of Remake, that they were protected, they were inside the singularity, so to speak, so they were protected from its effects. This is... See, it hurts because it is a pretty reasonable explanation for why they've lost all of the stuff. It's probably the most sensible explanation, because even the Yuffie thing, Yuffie would explain losing the gear and everything, but it wouldn't explain loss of levels, loss of stats. This singularity being the thing and time changing and the timeline itself being altered would explain everything. So, I don't know. I kind of feel like it does have to be in one timeline, though, if it's going to be this solution. I don't know. I'm trying to get my head around how this could work in split timelines. Because I do feel that the story is pushing that it's a split timeline. Otherwise, why even show that crisp packet with Stamp the Dog on? Why even make a big deal of Stamp the Dog being different like Nomura has done? So, yeah, I'm a bit conflicted on that one. But my face is hurting, so what about you? What do you think? Do you think any of these options are plausible? Do you have any other options for what could go down in Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2 to explain or to facilitate a wipe? Or do you just think we're just going to carry on as normal and they will figure out some way to get our gear and our everything across? Drop them in the comments below. Don't forget again to like and subscribe. And send me some sympathy for this wisdom tooth, because, you know, it's not nice. It's not nice. But more importantly than anything, have a great day.